Greetings everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. Today we'll be discussing about comparison and implementation of occupational health and safety assessment notifications 18001 and ISO 45001. As some of you are already informed, next week International Organization for Standardization is expected to release the new standard for occupational health and safety called ISO 45001. Which will be relevant to the traditional 18001. Therefore, today we'll be discussing whether there will be any difference or similarity between two standards. My name is Suzana Ayete, the PECB organizer of this webinar, and the guest for today is Mr. Tariq Khan, PECB trainer and partner, who is also the country manager for IMS Reliance. Please write your questions and comments in the question box in the right-hand control panel, and Mr. Khan will answer them accordingly. Moreover, if you want to participate directly to Mr. Khan in the discussion, you can also raise your hand, and then we will unmute you so you can ask your questions directly to him. Please, Mr. Khan, you may start the presentation.
Thank you, Suzanne. Hi, everybody. I hope everybody is doing great. Well, my brief introduction she have already given you. So we will start with our presentation today. Well, first of all, this is not the standard which I'm talking about today. It's not much what I have, you can say, in the slides or whatever I have prepared. I'm actually waiting for your questions. When I can answer all of them, then this can help. Okay, this is actually for you guys who is attendees. Okay, the development of this standard, which is ISO 45000, has now reached to the committee draft stage. This briefing note provides the background to development of ISO 45000 and outline the likely main similarities and differences between OHSAS 18001 and ISO 45000. The need for integrated risk control system. Well, what I have seen in this just newly released two standards, which is ISO 9001 and ISO 14000. They have developed something like 1 till 10. Maybe most of them you have already seen because you belong to this industry. So they are concerning or trying to maintaining the system, or you can say the clauses of both of the system, both of the standards. So this will be converting to the other one also. However, the need for integrated risk control system is ISO management system standards for quality, environment, food safety standards, etc. have been developed and published over a number of years. While some may say these standards are compatible with each other, the reality is that the proliferation of ISO management system standards and the manner in which they have been developed has resulted in many apparently common requirements that are substantially different. This is what you guys, all guys have already seen, that the difference is like clauses number, like ISO 9000 have 1 till 8, and the rest of the standards have 1 till 4, which goes with their sub-clauses and all that. Okay. This has caused confusion and inconsistency in understanding and implementation. Consequently, it has been easy to computerize these different risk control systems, but that is simply not how organizations operate to top management things. This compartmentalization can be significant barrier to getting the buy-in and hand-on participation of top management, and often result in failure to embed these systems into routine operation. Instead, each is operated as an independent system in its own right, with its own dedicated management structure. This had led to the need to combine or integrate these different aspects of business risk management more easily in an effective and efficient manner. The development timeline for this ISO 45000 is proposed like July 2015, and October, it's most probably what it has been announced yet. And the transition period is 2 to 3 years, not like the current ones, 9,000 and 14,000. They give just 6 months time period. Okay, did anybody have any question now? No. Okay, ISO 40. Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Tariq, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah,
So
yes.
we do have one question.
Okay.
Will the 80,001 be discontinued, in meaning that will the organization stop using it right away or later on?
No. As I says that this will release in October, most probably October 2016, and the transition period, like previously we have 2 to 3 years. Not it's immediately like this 9,000 or 14,000. This both standards will be end in March, according to the standard, which I have read it, and the information I have got it. Okay. ISO 45001 will adopt the high-level structure. This time, this is the same common structure, definition, and core text being used to revise ISO 14001 EMS and ISO 9001 QMS. The clauses, or you can say the standard structure, will be the scope, nominative references, terms and definition, contexts of organization, leadership, planning, support, operation, performance evaluation, improvement. The first significant change, therefore, is that there are now 10 sections instead of 4. As I says that previously we were having 14,000 and OHSAS and even 22,000. The same 4 clauses we were having. ISO 45001 includes new concept. Context of organization, leadership, and documented information are generally thought to be more significant new concept. Well, when I see this new standards like 9 and 14, so I was little bit trying to understand that what context of organization is. Leadership, you may have known all already that this previous clause like management, this is covered. But here they are talking about corely or purely regarding the management. What kind of management? Not you guys have to pick. They are there. The management, how they have to play a role in development of these standards. Okay, the context of organization, it's like you have to see, I'll take you guys from different way. Like once you are developing an structure, an organization structure, then you are going to see that what are the main targets and main and you can say what kind of departments we are having, the structure of the organization, not only the organization chart. Here they are talking about you should have the whole structure where you can go according to the need of organization, which is likely to be to have documented. Okay, then and documented. Previously we were having the document and document control and data control. So they have you can say make it in one. They have merged it in both the documented information, and these are the new concepts. But for all of you, I tell you that the 9,000 which they have given, and I like it the most, it's the concept of obtaining the objective. In OHSAS, in environment, we are like going for risk assessment, and then once we find out that this risk or that risk is higher, which have the higher complexity, we go first for that. So did ISO 9000 now. So the way we were doing for ISO this 14,000 and 18,000, same we have to do for 9,000. But it's not like we are going for check for structure. We are here we are going to check for the organization's requirement, which the leadership have to monitor. I hope you understand, guys.
Mr. Khan, we have a question.
Yeah, please.
The question is, does the 45,001 have the same structure as the 14,001?
Yes. Yes. 9,000, 14,000 and 45,000 will be the same structure. As I said earlier that I'll tell you again. The scope, the standard structure I'm telling here, the scope, nominative references, terms and definition, context of the organization, leadership, planning, support, operation, performance evaluation, improvement. These are the same structure as they are going to follow for ISO 45,000. I hope I answered the question.
Yes, thank you. You may continue.
Yeah, okay. Okay, now I'll tell you a little brief about the new clauses. I tell you briefly first. Now I'll tell you a little bit about what this standard says, will say, or all I say. The intent of 4.1 is to provide high-level conceptual understanding of the important issue that can affect either positively or negatively the way the organization manages it and its responsibilities in relation to the OHSAS management system for person working under its control. The issue of interest are those that affect the organization's ability to achieve an intended to outcome, include the objectives it set for its OHSAS management system, which include meeting its OHSAS policy commitment. For example, external issues such as cultural, social, political, legal, financial, technological, economical, and natural surrounding, and the market competition, whether international, national, regional, or local. Okay, the other one is I have internal characteristics or conditions of organizations such as governance, structure, role, and accountabilities, and the organization's culture. Okay, as I said earlier, that what we have to plan when the organization structure is developed. So means we have to be like, as I says here, the structure and the governance. The governance is come through your top management, and the structure is available, which anybody, which the main people who is in development phase, they are main part of this structure. And roles, it's coming through like what you can say, organization charts we are having, or whatever you say, where you have whole design of your organization. The guidance given in ISO 45000 adds that comment: the result of context review should be used to assist the organization in understanding and determining the scope of its OHSAS management system, determining its risk and opportunities, developing or enhancing its OHSAS policy, setting its OHSAS objectives, and determining the effectiveness of its approach to maintain compliance with applicable legal requirement and other requirement to which the organization subscribe. The other clause is what I have is 4.2, interested parties. The organization has determined the interested parties that are relevant to OHSAS management system, and then the relevant requirement of those interested parties. However, there is no expectation that organization shall comply with all these relevant requirement ISO 45001 at the comment, and which, this is additional one, and which of these became applicable legal and other requirement to which the organization subscribe. Before we were having interested parties like we normally consider our clients, but here is no. But here like we can go with many ones. Referring to the guidance given in Annexure A, blah blah blah. This is not okay. That the interested party needs and expectation are not necessarily compliant requirement of the organization. It is important to distinguish between what these needs and expectation will lead to: mandatory requirement, that is law and regulation; voluntarily commitments to interested parties to which the organization voluntarily subscribe. Need and expectation from interested party only became obligatory requirement for an organization if that organization choose to adopt them. Guys, ask me questions. I'll finish with my very fast. I'm waiting for your questions. Okay, in the scope. Yes. ISO 45000 stated that the scope shall include all activities, product or service within the organization's control or influence that can impact on the organization's occupational health and safety performance. This is 4.3 I'm talking about. An area like to cause some discussion will be that of outsource operation. In the definitions of ISO 45000 is stated that an external organization is outside the scope of the management system, although the outsourced functions or process is within the scope. The question will be, to what extent is the organization responsible for the occupational health and safety of outsourced operation carried out by another organization contractor? The guide. Okay, did you get something, these guys? Here they are talking about if your supplier or your outsource process of any of your product or whatever it is, but it's related to that organization, it has to be in consideration of your scope while you're auditing internal or external. Even external person will come and they will go there and check if you have identified. Scope, okay, I'll give you one example, like what I can say here, that if anybody, textile business, okay, textile people have sometimes they outsource their processes, like some type of stitching or embroidery work. Normally it happens in the organization, but sometimes they outsource to if somebody have different kind of embossing or plastic one, you know, there are many. So that will cover under this. So you have to be there to witness that this is your audit. Okay. Supply and procurement policies should be address hazards and potential occupational health and safety risk to the person in an organization, and as far as possible impact on person outsourced or subcontracted carrying out activity or producing product or services for the organization. Any question on this one, guys? Make it some. I'll move ahead. Okay, the other new clause, that is leadership, number 5. Section dedicated itself to leadership. This section is divided into 3 sub-clauses. 5.1 is leadership and commitment. 5.2 is policy. 5.3 is organizational role, responsibilities, accountabilities, and authorities. Although some of section 5 will seem familiar to the user of OHSAS, there are significant new and enhanced requirements. This clause calls the organization's top management to demonstrate, as I said earlier, that organization's management have to do their responsibilities. Top management to demonstrate their involvement and engagement with the OHSAS management system through direct participation in, for example, taking OHSAS performance into account in strategic planning, communicating the importance of effective OHSAS management system, and conforming to the OHSAS management system requirement, directing and supporting person to contribute to the effectiveness of the OHSAS management system for all functions. promoting and leading organizational culture with regard to occupational health and safety management system. Top management shall identify one or more of its number to be accountable for the occupational health and safety policy and occupational health and safety management system. Note that these are activities top management are required to carry out. They cannot delegate them to others. Right, guys? So this is the work which they have to do. This is what their baby, you can say.
Mr. Khan, we have a question regarding
Please.
the leadership. Yes,
Okay.
except these that you presented here, are there any requirements that need to be fulfilled? Like, except these, any examples or anything?
No, I didn't get it.
What are the new requirements that the leadership has to fulfill?
So this is what I'm telling this. Taking
Yes.
OHSAS performance into the account in strategic planning. Well, I rather ask this guy to ask question if somebody else have asked. So these are the main thing I have told, that taking OHSAS performance into account in strategic planning, communicating the importance of effectiveness OHSAS management, and conforming to the OHSAS management system requirement, directing and supporting person to contribute to the effectiveness of OHSAS management system for all function. These, I'm telling you guys, the top management's responsibility. These responsibilities, they have to do it. There are two more. Promoting and leading organizational culture with regard to management system. And the last one is top management shall identify one or more of its member to be accountable for the OHSAS policy and OHSAS management system. That means, in very short, for the last one I'm explaining, that the person is not only single one, that MR is there, or whatever you can say, the management representative is there to doing all the jobs. No, this is the this says the involvement of the top management have to be shown through this. This is not only one person who's the management representative have to do. Well, the further they have defined that these activities top management are required to carry out. Remember that, guys, the 5 points I just have told you, these points have to be required, activities to top management are required to carry out. They cannot delegate them to others. Thus, the top management assumes an active role in OHSAS management system. The leaders must also ensure the integration of OHSAS management system requirement into the organization's business process. Got it, guys?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Khan. You may continue.
Yeah. Okay, good. Okay. Now I'll jump from 5 to number 7.5. Actually, I'm just telling you right now the main changes or main adjustment which are moving in the standards, within the standards from OHSAS 18,000 to ISO 45,000. OHSAS 18,000 requirement for documentation and records are largely transferred to section 7.5. As I said, it's been merged. So subclause 7.5 is further divided into 3 parts. 7.5.1, that is general. 7.5.3, control of documented information. The significant change is use of the term documented information, not documents and records, as is the case in OHSAS 18,000. Documented information include processed information held, for example, on a smartphone and tablets. We are in 21st century, so we must have some of this in use, or we can say in use toys, which includes like smartphone and tabs. See, people there are many organizations which I know also, they are using what I can say, they are using software also. Software every organization have, but they are using that is refinery, and that is crude oil refinery. They have installed SAP's module that called health and safety one. That one is very interesting, and now they are moving on their on iOS and what you can say, Android app. So where they can hash their system or monitor, you can say, rather monitor. Monitoring through technology, it's like means this is, you can say, the top management one. Top management have to look at this all areas, or to monitoring have to have this all new concepts, and what I can say, the toys or the mobile phones and all tabs. Well, I'll start telling you guys, give me some questions. I'm running out of my slides. I'm here to help your concepts. Well, the clause titles, the clause number, this is, I'm telling you now, the correspondence between these both standards. What will be? The introduction is there. Scope, clause number 1, same also for OHSAS and this one, both having same. Nominative reference also number 2, clause number 2. Terms and definition also number 3 for both standards. Now, for 45,000, context of the organization, this is the title, but previously in the 18,001, it's been called OHSAS Management System Requirement. This was the title only. Now 45,000 have this new clause, as I told you guys earlier. Understanding the organization and its contexts, understanding the needs and expectation of interested parties. These two clauses are purely new, which have not been said earlier. Determining the scope of the OHSAS management system, that is 4.3 in 45,001, and previously it been told in OHSAS 18,001 under 4.1, and the 4.4 requirement for 45,000 is OHSAS management system. Is this both clauses, it has been defined or been told in 4.1 in our current standard, you can say, OHSAS 18,000.
Mr. Khan, we have a
Yes.
question.
Yeah, please.
Yes. How does ISO 45001 relate to other standards? And can it be integrated with the other management system standards?
Give me the standard name and number. Name or number, anything.
9001?
Okay. Okay, fine enough. Okay, this can integrate. See, before, as I said earlier, that ISO 9000 have 1 till 8 clauses, right, guys? And ISO 14000 have 4 clauses. Under clause number 4, they have covered everything. So did in the OHSAS also. They have covered everything in 18,000 and also in 22,000. Okay, I'll stick to ISO 9001. So now ISO 9001, as you have seen, the clauses are there, 10 clauses now they are having. Under that 10 clauses, they are making the similarity. So okay, let's say that when you are going to prepare a manual, you will not be in trouble by writing this clause number against or that number again. For example, the new clause number 5.2, that is occupational health and safety policy. Fine, guys? And it was previously in 4.2. Okay, so these two number, and in previous number ISO of 9001 2008, if I remember, it was 5.3. Yes, it was 5.3 9001 and 4.2 occupational health and safety, means OHSAS 18,000 and 14,000 also 4.2. So the similarities are coming through 14,000 and 18,000. Yes, but 9,000 is much longer by clause wise because it has the 8 clauses. So what they have did now, that they are giving you the edge, you can say, to have the list, or you can say the clauses are sent to prepare your document or documents, whatever you can say. You will not be surprised or you will not be confused by these numbers. I normally did before, but because my work is this is my routine work, so I become used to. But initially I do have a problem. Remember, it's a problem for the clause. Now everybody remember is not just to have OHSAS policy if you are making integrated, right? OHSAS policy, US policy, environment policy, or FSS policy. FSS is not yet in there now. They will going to be on SMS food data. And what I can say. So that is the reason we have to do in the sequence. The sequence will not be moved. Every standard now they are talking about risk, including QMS. QMS also have 45 also have. But previously we did not know that what QMS will be. I'm talking about risk. QMS risk will be or other ones. So, but now it's in there and we have to follow. I hope it's clear. Give me, this was a good question. I need some more this type of questions. Okay.
Yes. Mr. Khan, can you hear me?
Yes,
can you hear me?
Yes, Sudan, yes.
Okay, so we have another question. It says ISO 9001 and ISO 40001 were revised based on the Annex SL. So does ISO 45001 also follow the Annex SL or the high-level structure?
No, I didn't. What did you say? NSL what?
Annex SL. Does the new, does the 45001 also follow this structure, the Annex SL structure,
exactly.
Or is the high-level structure? Yes?
No. This is the same one. It has nothing The structure of the, if you are talking about specific standard structure, yes, it's the same. It has no other, you can say the, what I can say. It's a simple one. What my concept after reviewing all this standard, they are trying to simplify the standards where we can understand easily and implement it. When they have divided the clauses, they have developed or they have defined much items in it. So this is for us to not to confuse and start working according to the standards requirement. So the structure wise and if annexure wise, it's the same. Wait a second. As I say, the context of organization, you can say the high level one, but after that it's becoming the normal. It has no changes, no nothing else much in it. Yeah, I hope I answered the question. I'll move ahead. Leadership. There was no title in OHSAS. I'll call this OHSAS so it's understandable to all of us. If I go for this standard name, number, it's confusing. The leadership and commitment, there was no, this also new. Occupational health and safety policy 5.2 and previously 4.2. Organizational role, responsibilities and authorities was available in the new number is 5.3 and 4.4.1 was in the OHSAS. Okay, the next clause is number 6, and action to address risks and the opportunities. This is the title. In OHSAS there was nothing like that. The journal 6.1.1 there was nothing like that. Hazard identification, risk assessment and determining control 6.1.2 and it was previously defined in OHSAS 4.3.1. Compliance obligation. This is the new name of the clause number is 6.1.3 and previously have been called legal and other requirement. That was the clause number was 4.3.2. Planning action 6.1.4 and this is also new. So according to this this clause, where we have previously two clause number, which is the assessment and legal requirement. Here they give according to 9,000 and 14,000 also, and they go separately for planning action. Okay, this is the really, this is the one I really like it when I read it first. Occupational health and safety objectives and planning to achieve them. The clause number is 6.2. Occupational health and safety objectives 6.2.1. Planning action to achieve occupational health and safety objectives. Okay guys, do not confuse yourself. As I said earlier in ISO 45000, planning action, right? This is a new and it was in 6.1 clause, 6.1.4. This planning action here they defined like you can say which one you have to go for. Here you have to define that means that what I can say here, which risk you have to take in control. Obviously, it's the high one, but you have to take action on it when. So this is what you have to define here in objectives. You will define there. Then we will go, like you can make a sheet out of your multiple ones, your all departments one. And then you can bring it here as it's previously says in OHSAS 1 clause 4.3.3 objectives, targets and program. So now they have divided into the 3 clauses, or rather you can say 2 clauses. OHSAS objectives, the other one is planning action to achieve OHSAS objectives. So here they have defined it into 2. Well, organization always go for a standard one. This people or organization where I audit, very rarely I found out that the objectives they are going for, like they are just going for the objective which they are thinking, okay, this one is not good, that one is not good. But what they did, it's just they develop risk on the one, their assumption one. The one they have identified risks, the objectives they have to develop first. So did ISO 9000 now also wanted to have, do you assess your you can say your risks, and then you divide it, you develop in your objectives. So guys, if you used to do it that way, so please in your exercises, in your practices, take this into your take into your activities, that whatever your risks are, you have to eliminate them first. Once you have that, you remove them, and you take them to the objectives, then you remove them, because your objectives are not coming from outside. We can write it down, and being an auditor, as I am auditor, so I just take them. I said okay, because I'm not here to not like a policeman who go for that. No, whatever they show, we accept. But this I always try to explain them, and I found out here in this standards now, the new releases, they this way. So this is very effective way for your organization and your practices also. Okay, the new the other clause that is support, clause number 7. Resource. Okay, wait. Support. This was the title for 45,000, and the OHSAS is 4.4, implementation and operation. This also was the title. Resource 7.1, and previous in OHSAS 4.4.1. It has been called resource, roles, responsibility, and authority. And they have divided in this standard competence and awareness 7.2 and 7.3, and it was previously defined in OHSAS 4.2.2, competence training and awareness. So they have divided, and just of course with some description in it when they develop or define. Excuse me. Clause number 7.4, communication. This is the title only, and in OHSAS 4.4.3. And in new 45,000 they have journal, which and they have new sections called internal communication, and the other one is external communication. So this clause have 3 sub clauses under it, and previously in OHSAS there is one clause that is 4.4.3. you guys will find this same clause or same number in already published ISO 9000 and 14000. Further, I have documented information, that is 7.5, and the previously 4.4.4 documentation. The journal one 7.5.1 is new. Creating and updating, please remember this thing, my guys. Creating and updating 7.5.2, that's come under 4.4.5, that is control of document, and 4.5.4 control. The next one is 7.5.3 for ISO 45000, control of documented information. This also 4.4.5 and 4.5.4. These both clauses are covering by these two clauses in this one. Before it was separated, now they have merged it into together, and now you have to, whatever you have to make regarding related to your documentation, creating and updating, and control of documented information. The same, the description, once you're going to read in future, you will find out that these information are there, which was having by the name under control of document and the control of records. Okay. Operations. The clause number 8 and previously 4.4. It was in implementation and operation, title only. Operational planning and control, 8.1. And previously it was defined under 4.4.6, operational control. Emergency preparedness and response is 8.2. And it was defined previously 4.4.7. Okay. I think under 8 I miss here one. That is our what I can say. What was the name of? Sorry, when I remember, I'll tell you guys. I miss here to write. Okay, clause number 9, performance evaluation, and previously 4.5, checking, monitoring, measurement, analysis, and evaluation, 9.1, and previously 4.5.1, monitoring and measurement. Journal is in this standards, this new one, they have added journals a lot. So where they can define or describe about the clause. Okay, the evaluation of compliance is 9.1.2 and previously 4.5.2, evaluation of compliance. Internal audit, title only, 9.2, and previously it was a clause called 4.5.5. Under this 9.2, they have general and internal audit program, where they have defined all of their requirements. Clause number 9.3 is management review, and previously it was 4.6 was the last one in both 14 and 18. Improvement, this is the title only, and previously it was defined in 4.5.3, non-conformity, corrective action, and preventive action. So number 10 is having journal, non-conformity, and corrective action, that is 10.2, and continual improvement, that is 10.3. So this is the standards item, and my items is already been finished. So I would like you guys to give me some of your thoughts and regarding what you are, what you wanted to do.
Mr. Khan?
Yes.
Thank you for your presentation. We only have time for one question. So
please.
the question is, will the audit to the new version of this standard trigger additional audit time?
The audit time is 2 to 3 years after releasing this standard. Unlike 9,000 and Environment 1, 14,000, that is according to the standard. It says that effective March 2016, it is the previous version is not valid for audit. So, but this one, it's they are coming like previous one. They have time, they have everything, so they can go for longer version.
Okay, so thank you so much, Mr. Khan, for these presentations. I want to thank all the attendees as well for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us. We hope you enjoyed this webinar. We have received all of your questions, and because the time is limited, we will answer to your questions individually by email. Please check PECB's webinar schedule on our website, pecb.com, or our official social media network. Since next week, we are organizing webinars on the interesting topics. Next Tuesday, we are hosting a webinar on the topic, the concept and components of a health and safety management system based on ISO 18001. Thank you once again.